There's a couple things. I run into the other guys who Crimmins has a term, feminizers, who are who are acting all sensitive but still pulling mad wool. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I understand.
fakery.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're the same guy.
You're the same guy.
You're the same
You got a
dude.
different hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the feminizers.
Oh, yeah, man.
And but you know, I mean, at the end of the day, feminists, it's you know, basic human rights. I'm all for that.
Yeah, of course. The
But-
problem is
but
the
yeah.
definition
And
is weighted.
and those guys who I question their integrity.
Yes. Well, men are very difficult in that regard. It's very difficult while they're sexually viable because they're looking for attention. They're trying to score. And when they're trying to score, they try any sort of combination of words
Right.
that might be possible. Like, I met this one guy, he said he's a feminist, and then he told me he's polyamorous. I go, oh, you're a pussy hound. You're a pussy hound.
Yeah.
I don't want to control my woman. I don't want to, I respect her pleasure, her right to seek pleasure. Like, oh, you fucker. You fucker. I see what you're doing. I respect her, man.
Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, I don't know when
First of all, when did men start becoming feminists? Was it Alan Alda? Did he pull that shit first?
no, I think it's but you know, the early 70s, 60s, you
They
know.
started saying it?
I mean, I'm sure like Warren Beatty was, even though, you
Was
know,
he?
I guarantee you he was.
But he was such a pussy hound.
I
How is
know.
that possible?
I know. I guarantee you he was.
Maybe. I think, you know, people don't like the term egalitarian. They think it's a cop-out. Like, oh, no. If you really cared about women's rights, you'd identify yourself as a feminist. Like, no, I like humans. I like all of them. I like nice women. I like nice men. I like people
But I mean,
that
there
are fun to be
are
around.
obviously major things. You know, the pay gap is a
The
real
pay gap
thing.
is tricky. You ever look into that? It's a lot of political bullshit.
Yeah.
The actual reality pay gap, it's very minor. There's only a few jobs where women actually do get paid less than men. What the pay gap is overall judging how much money women make versus how much money men make, and not taking into account what jobs they do, what jobs men tend to gravitate towards naturally versus what jobs women tend to gravitate towards naturally. But when they're in the same job with the same sort of production, their actual pay scale is very similar. It's real tricky, man, because you can't deny that some people that are a certain gender, they gravitate towards certain occupations, and those occupations might have higher risk. They might have higher pay ceilings. There's a lot of variables, and then you have to take into account women taking time off for raising children, for being pregnant, all those things, having babies, maternity leave. That all gets factored in when you're talking about how much time or how much money people actually make. So if you say women should be paid maternity leave and they should get X amount of money from a corporation, then you're dealing with a totally different argument. And if you do that, then the pay scale changes. Then it goes up a little bit. And if you say, well, everybody should get paid for the same exact money for the same job, even still, more men want to do certain jobs in engineering and science. And then when it comes to like really dangerous jobs, you know, men are much more likely to die on the job. Men are much more likely to be murdered by other men. There's like a lot of weird shit that has to get factored in when you talk about pay scales.
Yeah.
And apparently it's one of those political things where people say it, and then I say it, and
Yeah.
then someone corrected me on it. And then I said, but I heard Obama say it. Because Obama was talking about the glass ceiling and how much money and the disparity in income. And then I started actually looking into it. I went, oh, okay. This is complicated. Because it's one of those things where you don't want to be insensitive. So you don't want to say, that's bullshit. Women don't get paid any less than men do. But when you actually do look at the real numbers, that's where they're getting it from. It's not like there's 100 lawyers.
Okay, let's use an example about in showbiz, because there is a big difference in actresses and actors' pays.
Are there?
Your top actors.
Well, the people that can sell the most tickets get the most money. Like Jennifer Lawrence gets paid shit piles of money. And there was that thing where she was saying that she was upset that she didn't get as much money as Bradley Cooper. But Bradley Cooper was in way more scenes than her. He was in way more of the movie. And he was a bigger star at the time. It's real tricky. Because if Jennifer Lawrence was in a movie with you, she'd get paid way more than you.
Well,
But you know what I'm saying? Or
that's
me,
a bad
or-
example.
It's a bad example.
I probably would pull more money, but
But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like if someone is a huge
Sure.
superstar, what's her name from Friends? Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston in her prime, you know, or the Matt and Mike and Molly guy. What's the girl's name? Melissa McCarthy. Yeah. You don't think she makes more than him? Of course she does. She's more popular. She's more famous. She does these giant movies. She gets paid tons of money. Amy Schumer gets paid tons of money. You know,
I'm going
there's-
to change
there's
the
a lot.
subject because I was thinking of back to your Bears and movies. What was your take on Revenant?
I liked it. You know, it's all based on an actual true story.
Right.
That this guy, Steve Rinella from that Meat Eater podcast, who's actually a historian himself in a way, he told me the story, the actual story, where they really did leave this guy for dead, and he really did crawl for a couple miles and figured out a way to survive and got to that guy and killed him. It's a real true story. I thought it was pretty good, man. It's really interesting. I mean,
But
there's-
someone who's actually been relatively close to a wild bear, what did you make of the scenes?
People do, it looked really realistic. People do occasionally survive bear attacks like that because a lot of times the bears are just trying to protect themselves or they're trying to protect their cubs. You fuck up, you get too close to their cubs. That's a lot of it.
Yeah, that's the thing about bears is that you may not know that you're between the cub.
Yeah, you might not have any idea.
Yeah.
You got to be super careful. And if
I'm
you're
just
in the
trying
area.
to... I'm worried about you.
I know what I'm doing. I mean, there's a certain amount of risk. There's a certain amount of risk.
Yeah, that's
but
famous last words. No, watch me. I know what I'm doing.
I don't.
Let me
yeah.
try this.
I don't go where grizzlies are. I stay where the black bears are.
Black
and
bears.
if I do see a grizzly, we're fucking out of there pretty
Yeah.
quickly. You gotta be careful, but there's a certain amount of risk to it.
Did you see Grizzly Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many times.
I was
It's one of my
rooting
favorite
for the
comedies.
Bears. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I was the same thing. I was like, go
Well,
Bears.
that's an interesting case because that guy is obviously
That
he was
movie
mentally unbalanced.
influenced Willow Creek probably more than any other movie.
Really? Willow
Yeah.
Creek, if people haven't seen it, it's Bob's Bigfoot movie, which we're going to get back to Bigfoot.